Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stuart Irvine and welcome to my reaction to my Premier League predictions that I started on my own channel at the start of the season. Obviously I'm excited and kind of dreading kind of going through my predictions because there actually were some pretty stinkers in there and some really bad ones in there. So I kind of, but obviously this is on the Arcade Football Talk, obviously the podcast I'm part of. So we're gonna try and put more content on individuals, as well as the big kind of like all the guys was it in the podcast form. Please like and subscribe to make sure you get more content from us, because we post our podcast weekly, so obviously you don't miss that. So let's dive straight in to react to my predictions. 20th, I chose Leicester City. Obviously I was going into the season with obviously not exactly high hopes for obviously Leicester. Obviously I was thinking, because obviously the points deduction at the start of the season looked like they were going to get was going to really affect their kind of campaign, and kind of like any good work they could do would be affected by that points deduction. But they obviously found a loophole and didn't get those charges that were coming. But in the end it didn't matter, because obviously they finished 18th, best of a bad bunch. And it's been a pretty drab season for them, to be honest. Obviously not a lot of goals. I think Vardy only got 9. Obviously changed the manager. Obviously had Stephen Cooper was always started the season. I kind of was thinking, if he's going to be any good. Obviously he done well with Nottingham Forest to keep them up. Maybe that experience might be enough, but it just never really hit the ground running, and it never really worked. And obviously he got sacked, I think, the end of November. And obviously we got Van Nistelrooy that just he couldn't get a win. Like, I think he got 1, maybe 2, not as many. I think they went through like 9 games without scoring a goal. I think from February to early April. They just didn't have the quality. They didn't have the energy really to keep up with the kind of pressures and pace of the Premier League. Just really, it's no surprise. Obviously, I think they finished bottom. They're still in the relegation places, but it'll be interesting to see next season, because obviously Vardy leaving. It's obviously a big thing. So he got his 200th goal for the club, but obviously 1-2 near the end. The only thing they can really excited about in a pretty awful season for Leicester City. But it'd be interesting to see if obviously where they get goals when they're in the Championship. Again, the way it's been going up and down, it wouldn't surprise me if next season they finish top and they're back in the Prem next season. But really bad season for them. And I kind of got this right in the way. Obviously I predicted they'd be relegated, but not obviously technicalities. They got the prediction where they're going to finish wrong. So obviously it's just been a really bad season for Leicester. So for 19th, I put Southampton to finish 19th. Obviously they finished bottom of the Premier League with 12 to 13 points, and second worst Premier League team in Premier League history, behind Derby County. That was 11 points. It just never got going for them, and they never really hit any form. I think they only won 2 games all season. They got obviously 1 at home. That was was early on against Everton, and obviously 1 away against Ipswich. But except for that, it was just defeat after defeat. Obviously Russell Martin at the start of the season, it was obviously he kind of played some really good passing football. Again, it seems like another team that kind of very similar, kind of trying to pass out the back, kind of Burnley, kind of thinking you can play that kind of like passing from the back kind of football, but you got to have the quality, and obviously they didn't have that. I mean, perfect example was it when Liverpool played. I think they were 2-1 up and it came back to win 3-2. 2 of those goals come from just like, why are you passing it in the box? Sometimes you just got to clear it. Obviously Russell Martin lost his job, and obviously they brought another guy in, but again it didn't really work out for him either. Just couldn't. They lost their identity in a way, didn't know what to do. And it's been awful season for them. Obviously I think I put like where the goal's going to come from. I think barely anyone got any more 4 goals the whole season. It's just absolutely awful. It'll be interesting to see when I'm back in the Championship. Obviously, again, as I said with Leicester, is it going to be a situation of, are they going to be a yo-yo club, or is this like too soon? It'll be interesting to see what happens, obviously. But they need to sort out the situation of who they're going to bring in, and obviously they need to get like goals, because obviously that was the struggle this season. And it'll be interesting to see in Championship. It's a bit different, but yes, terrible season for Southampton. And I put 19th. Obviously they finished 20th, but still kind of predicted that they're gonna get relegated, and they was. So in a way, I got that right. So, Southampton, bad season for them. So 18th, I put Nottingham Forest. Oh my God, this is an absolute dreadful prediction. I mean, at the start of the season, I think it was more. My mindset was going on the situation of like, they've had 2 seasons where they've just survived, and obviously normally like, are they going to turn into like a Wigan, or like eventually they keep surviving and eventually it comes back to bite them. But yeah, totally wrong on this one, and I'm kind of glad I was, because, yeah, Nuno Espirito Santo has done an amazing job with that Nottingham Forest side. Obviously, they're kind of strong defence at the back, fast counter-attacking. Obviously, got Morgan Gibbs White, and obviously Chris Wood. Obviously, I think he's got 20 odd goals. I think amazing for him. Obviously, got Sales has been absolutely amazing. You know, he's been unbeatable in that kind of goal at times. Like, you know, some magnificent saves that's kept them in the games. Obviously, near the end, it kind of tailed. They were in them Champions League spot for a lot of the season, and yeah, obviously, but it kind of tailed off near the end with obviously 2 wins out of the last 8. And obviously lost to Chelsea in the final day to only finish 7th. But they got European football. People a lot are predicting they're going to be like the back end of the bottom half, and the situation of just what they've done, and kind of they've given me more kind of hope of football. Like, you know, you can be successful by just not playing the kind of passing kind of positional kind of Pep way. You can kind of go old school, and you've got a solid defence and a really good attacking wingers, and obviously when you've got Chris Wood in the form he's been in for most of the season, you've got a recipe for success. And it kind of rekindled my hope for football. You can have different styles of football, but it still works. And yeah, I mean, Nottingham Forest, I mean, absolutely loving Nottingham Forest this season. As a Liverpool fan, going to them, like playing them, obviously one of the only, before we won the league, obviously many of the, not a lot of defeats we had, obviously with that 1-0 win earlier on in the season at Anfield, and obviously that draw against them at the City Ground. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad I got this wrong. I put my hands up, but I'm glad I got it wrong. But yeah, so congratulations on the Forest. I can't wait to see them in the Europa Conference League. I think they got a good shout in that to win that, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm glad I got this one wrong. So for 17th, I put Ipswich Town to survive, not to start the curse of 3 teams go up, 3 teams go down. Unfortunately, that's what happened this season. Obviously, they finished 19th. I think they've just been unlucky. I think there were moments in the season when they were just like, they showed that they've got some quality there. Obviously, the big talking point from that Ipswich side is obviously Liam Delap, who I think he's got like 12 goals for them or something like that. It's absolutely amazing. Showed that he's a pretty, Premier League quality. It's surprising that obviously no surprise, obviously Chelsea, from rumours going around from recording this, he's off to Chelsea, so it'll be interesting to see where he goes there, how he does well. But yeah, I think they're just trying to kind of play the kind of intensity and the kind of football that they played. It's just, again, quality played out. I think it's just they just couldn't get the results they could. I mean, obviously there was 1 point, I think, a game against Wolves, when they were like 9 points behind. If they won it, they got it down to single figures. And then if they just beat Wolves, they could have got it down to 6 and made it more of a race to avoid relegation. But after that, it became like inevitable, and they went down. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of, it was based on hope more than anything else. Like, I just didn't want all 3 teams to go down, and out of all the teams that are down there, Ipswich was kind of the unknown quantity that might come in their favour. And I thought, okay, maybe they could be this team that goes go for it, but it just hasn't worked out the way that is. Again, Ipswich is probably going to be a side that going to probably be straight back next season. Again, they've still got the core of that team's probably going to be staying there, because obviously, and I can see them going, back, I wouldn't surprise me if all 3 teams go down, go back up, because that's how it works, isn't it? Obviously, there was, different levels to this, but yeah, I mean, I got this one wrong. Obviously, I think I had an interesting conversation with a guy on TikTok once, saying that, obviously, why is it Ipswich? And he was right, and I got it wrong. So, put my hands up, I got this prediction wrong. But yeah, Ipswich, I think I've been a bit unlucky this season. But yeah, well, obviously, I got that one wrong. So, 16th place, I chose Everton. Obviously, they finished 13th. A bit of an up and down season for them. Obviously, with Sean Dyche start the season, obviously he got his end. As always with him, it's kind of a situation in getting good defensively, good solid base, but the goals weren't there. Obviously, Calvin Lewin, I was going into the season thinking he's going to get back into the form that's kind of made everyone really like him, but it didn't really work out for him. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Sean Dyche, obviously, at some point, you got to let him, leave. It was just like it felt like it was inevitable. And it was 16th in the league at one point. I wasn't clear in the position I put him in. But yeah, when obviously David Moyes came back, obviously the prodigal son returned. It's kind of a situation. It was with him. It was more of a situation of never go back, but he absolutely changed them into they were one of the most informed teams at the back end of the season. Obviously Beto, it's looking like a different player. I think 8 goals since Moyes took over. Absolutely amazing. And I think except for that obviously defeat to Villa, they went for a 9-game unbeaten run. Obviously from January to April, beginning of April. Obviously that big 2-2 draw against us, the last game at Goodison. Obviously, got a bit testy at the time. Obviously, like this was last season at Goodison, but obviously the end of the season we've beaten Newcastle at Newcastle. So obviously only 3 pages off it. Obviously made sense at the time. Obviously with Sean Dyche, you're not exactly thinking it's going to be the same old with Everton. But with how David Moyes has got them new stadium, I think they've got new owners coming in. There's optimism probably at Everton for the first time in a long time. So do not be surprised next season if they're going to be a team challenging for the European spots. I've put an early prediction there, but I wouldn't be surprised because David Moyes has proven that if he started play, it just works for certain clubs. I mean, for West Ham it kind of worked in a way, and obviously at Everton first stint it proved that it does work. Just for certain clubs work, and it's a style that if it works, why change it. So it'll be interesting to see who they get in, what's going to happen. But I got this one wrong. 16th I predicted, they finished 13th. But I look forward to Everton to see what happens next season. But roughly got this wrong. But I mean, what a season it has been for Everton. So in 15th place, I put Brentford. Obviously, I've got that completely wrong because they finished 10th and kind of back to what Brentford were a couple of seasons ago. Obviously, my kind of reasoning for this is obviously because started in the last season of kind of like bad results. They were kind of tailing into they kind of finished around the back position. So I was thinking with the kind of how mid-table teams usually do in the Premier League, eventually, if they don't move up, good chance eventually they're going to go but slide down the table more and more. But I was wrong here. Obviously they've been absolutely amazing. Mbeumo, obviously pronounced that correctly, obviously being a revelation this season. 20 goals this season, absolutely been shining light. Obviously with Ivan Toney leaving, obviously there was that gaping hole of like where the goals are going to come from, and obviously it hasn't been a problem with them, and they played with some really good stuff. Demsgaard obviously has been like this is a kind of a defining season for him. Like, is he going to be kind of like he's got to push it? And 11 assists this season, one of the top assists in the Premier League. That's been absolutely outstanding for them. So they've been really good. I mean, I'm glad I kind of like this one. I kind of got this wrong. It was kind of glad I got this wrong because obviously I do like Brentford, kind of a really well-run club. And the question is next season is the big one. Obviously, is it going to be another steady, top half, or have they got the quality and the money to kind of push for them European spaces? Because it would be nice to see someone like Brentford get like Conference League and get up there. It'd be really. I think that'd be really fun. But obviously I got this one completely wrong. Obviously only a couple of 5 places. Obviously I put 15th. They finished 10th. That's the way it is. But I look forward to next season with them. But it'll be interesting to see if they don't get raided as well. Because obviously a lot of the good players. In the top half of the table, there's a lot of teams in the Premier League going to try and take away. I mean, I think I saw rumours that their goalkeeper is on his way out, so to Bayer Leverkusen. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But interesting with Brentford. But I predicted 15th, they got 10th. So I got that well wrong. In 14th, I picked Wolves. Obviously, they finished. I was a bit generous there because obviously I put 14th. They finished 16th, but they had a very good tail end to the season. It kind of kept them up at one point. Obviously, at the start of the season, I was kind of hoping because obviously Gary O'Neill done really good job last season of obviously the situation they had to keep them up and playing some good stuff. But the start of the season, it just didn't really work out for him. Obviously, I think they had a bad run. I think they couldn't score as well, and I think it was like it kept going. They just couldn't find the solutions. And and obviously they got rid of him, and then obviously when he got the new guy in, he was, I think, like second or third best informed team in the last back end of the season when he came in. Absolutely transformed that team and kind of showed that this is a quality side. This is a very, very good side. You've got obviously Cunha's going to be the star show for this Wolves side. Obviously 15 goals. Obviously he's on from rumours he's on his way to Man United. So can't wait to talk about that. But we'll see with this 15 goals for Cunha. Very good. Obviously, he's disciplinary. They showed that they're very, very good side. Question next season, is it going to be they're going to be another relegation scrap, or can they kind of stabilise themselves and kind of make them like a Brentford, kind of establish like kind of top mid-table side in the Premier League? It'll be interesting, but I obviously got this wrong. Obviously 16th, it shows that they maybe had a tail end, but where they were at one point, it's a good season for them, really good for Wolves. So kind of gave them obviously got it wrong in the sense of they finished lower than I expected, but that's fine. But I mean, with Wolves next season, it'll be fascinating to see how they do. don't be surprised if they get like a mid-table, if they get, maybe it's like a new manager bounce, or can we see that this manager's got something that can really push them. But yeah, you now got this one wrong. But yeah, interesting with Wolves next season. So 13th place, I put Fulham. Obviously, they finished obviously 11th. Obviously, this season, very impressed by them. To be fair, I mean, you see, it's kind of been a situation with Fulham. Obviously, it's kind of proved Polania. I think I pronounced that totally wrong, but I apologise. But yes, obviously, he went to Bayern Munich. Obviously, then that kind of defensive midfield. Have they lost that kind of spine in the midfield? But obviously, Silva's found a creative way around that. Kind of proved how good of a manager this guy is. Obviously, you got Anthony Robinson as being an absolute revelation for them. Obviously, on that left-hand side, obviously it was 10-11 assists. So obviously, he's been a top defensive assist maker. I might be wrong with that, but yeah, I mean, it's just to play some really good stuff. They look dangerous on the counter. They've always been a kind of team. Obviously, when Liverpool played them, it's been absolutely, they've only got like 1 point from them. The 2 games played in this season. Obviously, with that 3-1 defeat at the Craven Cottage, obviously was a problem. But yeah, I mean, it just shows how tactically astute Silva is. It kind of shows how how tactically good this team is, and obviously how kind of tactical how he can kind of adapt to new situations. I was expecting him to be low because I thought that kind of hole in the middle would be a problem. But it's kind of worked out really well for them. And again, it's Silva. It's kind of proved, obviously, with the Everton thing a couple of years ago, it's kind of proved he's kind of been kind of overlooked because obviously it didn't work there. But he's done a brilliant job at Fulham. And only disappointment, I guess, would be they didn't get invited to that cup run. Obviously, in the FA Cup this season maybe might be a problem for them. But yeah, they've been absolutely really good. And I think their 11th place doesn't give them justice to how good they've been. But yeah, I like Silva. I like this Fulham side. I look forward to seeing them next season. Again, would they be pushing a bit more harder for the European spots? I would love to see it personally. But yeah, be interesting to see. But yeah, I got that. I think 13th, 11th, roundabout, got it kind of right in a way. Obviously, would have liked them to be a bit higher, but yeah, I got this one wrong, but only by 1 or 2 spots, so it's fine. But yeah, next season it's going to be interesting with Fulham, but yeah, got this one wrong. So in 12th spot, I picked Bournemouth, and obviously they finished, 12th, and obviously they finished 9th. Again, another spectacular season by Bournemouth here. They've obviously been, after Solanke went to Noah Tottenham, obviously they thought where the goals are going to come from, but to be fair, they've found a way to kind of distribute them all around the kind of area. Obviously we've got Justin Kluivert, you've got Semedo, and you've got Evan Nielsen. Obviously you've got 12, 11 and 10 goals between them all. And yeah, it's been, and the kind of football's been really good. They've blown teams away at times. I think they had like a 5-0 win at one point, I think. A couple of big score lines in this season. And obviously we're just off the kind of European spaces. It would be nice to see them in Europe or maybe win a trophy. But yeah, it's been a spectacular season for them. Another team that's kind of gave me faith in kind of football in a way. So I'm kind of hoping that it turns into like this is not a thing, and obviously don't get raided or anything like that. But yeah, it's been a really good season for them, and yeah, I got this one wrong, but a little bit, but I wasn't quite sure with Bournemouth, because obviously they had a good end to the season last season. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with this one. I got this a little bit wrong, and also hopefully Bournemouth can keep going, because they have a really good run club as well, and it's just nice to see good run clubs succeed with different styles of football. So I got this one wrong, but yeah, obviously I hope this next season Bournemouth can continue being a good club. So in 11th spot, I put Crystal Palace. Obviously in the Premier League they finished a place lower in 12th, but I mean in the Premier League obviously it's been a pretty decent season for them. Obviously at the start of the season it's just been absolutely really bad. I think it's 9-10 games they were out of win. Like they were just like the manager Gresner, I think his name is Gresner. Yeah, he was on the chopping block, but again, sometimes it just proves that these managers, you sometimes just stick with them and good things will happen. Obviously, at one point they had one of the best defence, the best away record. Obviously, it was kind of a situation at some point with Crystal Palace. If they're playing away, it's probably guaranteed they're going to win the game. That's how good they were. The back end, the start. Was it the second half of the season? Obviously, the big thing, them this season, obviously they won the FA Cup, their first silverware in their history. That's going to be the big thing here. And yeah, they've been absolutely amazing. That Muniz is obviously on that wing back position. He's been absolutely lightning on that side. Obviously, you've got Eze. It's been absolutely amazing. Ever since I saw him in a pre-season friendly against Crawley, I've always been a fan of that guy, and he's absolutely proved how good he is this season. Yeah, there's a lot of good players in that team. Obviously, they lost one of their big players, obviously, again to Bayern Munich in the summer. And you were thinking, okay, is that it? Is it something gone wrong? But they've thrived. I mean, they found a way to get a good system going. And yeah, I'm really happy for Palace this season. I mean, obviously 1 point place off, but yeah, it's really been good for them. Obviously, I'm really happy that they won the FA Cup. Because obviously it just proves that, hard work and kind of, it's just nice to see somebody else win it, and a team that truly will appreciate it, Crystal Palace. But in the Premier League, I think it'd be interesting next season to see, is this just a good season, and would it be like, would they be struggling? Obviously got European football, so that'd be an interesting dynamic that, I'd be interested to see Palace in European football. Wouldn't have thought it. Crazy, right? But yeah, obviously got one position off of this in a way. But yeah, so obviously, a great season for Palace, and I can't wait to see how they're going to cope with European football next season. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to find out. So in 10th spot, I picked Brighton. Obviously, they finished 8th. Obviously, they're really unlucky to not maybe nick a European spot. Lots of European spots going for this season because of the coefficient. And but yes, obviously, I thought it was kind of going to be a transitional season with a new manager coming in. And kind of being like, okay, so obviously stability, kind of, I thought they would challenge for Europe, and I think they were just off. So I got that right in a way. But yeah, obviously, 10th place. I mean, 10th place and obviously 8th. I think again, they're just playing some good stuff, but there have been some inconsistencies at time. Like, I think they went through a run where they just couldn't win a game, and I think it was 1 or 2 months where it just tailed off in the middle. I think that really hurt them. Obviously, had a good run. I think they won 3 of their last 5. With really good, obviously, to beat us, second to last game in the season. That, well, to be fair, we weren't bothered. We were champions at that point, so why do I care? But it was, but they were really good side, Brian, and it was just really unlucky at the end. Obviously, the results in the middle was kind of they were way off, kind of unlucky to not get that European spot. But maybe Europa League football. But hey, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting next season. Obviously, now the new manager's kind of had his season in there. Obviously, he's quite young. I think I'm older than him, or just around about the same age. That kind of proves what I'm doing, and obviously how good he is. So take it with a pinch of salt. But yeah, but Brighton, this again isn't a great one club. They've got a good system of kind of every time they lose a big player, they kind of find a way to find these more diamonds in the rough. They're a well-run club, and yeah, I think if they keep going what they're doing, obviously the manager's proved this season that he's really, he can keep them playing some really good and high elite football. I'm excited to see maybe they can challenge for that Champions League spot next season, or maybe get challenge for those European spots, because I think Brighton have always been knocking at the door for the last couple of seasons. Obviously they got that one season when they did, and they were just unlucky. But yeah, I think it's next season. Obviously when I put my prediction out for that, I think they're going to do really well. But yeah, good season for them, I would say. I mean, probably will be disappointed with probably if a cup run, because also I think there's again one of them teams that are just in that kind of running, and obviously didn't work out for them. But yeah, I mean, I predict them if they got 8th. Obviously got it off by 2 positions. But yeah, Brighton get more space. I think at some point that team's just going to be outstanding, and I can't wait to see what happens with Brighton. But with this one I got it wrong, but only by 2 places. But yeah, can't wait to see how Brighton react to obviously this 8th place finish for next season. So in 9th place, I put West Ham. Another stinker by yours truly. It was, I because obviously they brought some really good players in the summer, and I was kind of jumping on the bandwagon of okay, they've had a good summer, but Lukatemi, obviously the manager, former Wolves manager, hasn't really done well there, and I was thinking, he's kind of similar style to David Moyes, so I was thinking, okay, maybe he can be the guy that kind of keeps them together and kind of improves on kind of that counter-attacking kind of fast-paced football. And I got, was it Froberg, if I pronounced that correctly, for Bayern Munich. I thought would be kind of the linchpin they need, kind of a poacher kind of got the striker. But he's again injury prone, hasn't really played much season, and yeah, it didn't really work out. And obviously they got Potter in midway through the season, and it hasn't worked out for them either. Obviously they finished 9th of obviously here, finished 14th in the end, but obviously that's flattering. At one point they were 17th. It was just. I just don't think in the way Potter wants to play, they have to play yet, and I don't think they've figured out the system. So it's what happens sometimes when you bring a manager that wants to play a different style of football halfway through a season. But yeah, it's the way it is. But yeah, I got carried away with the hype, and I got this one completely wrong. If I had my sane head, I probably would have put them on about 13th, 14th anyway. But I kind of got swept into the kind of the summer transfer, and my bad. Got to remember that for next time. Don't do that. unless it's your own team, of course. But yeah, so obviously with that, got that completely wrong. But West Ham's interesting with what we said with Potter. Is it how is it? When is he gonna? Is this kind of style of play gonna work? Is he gonna get the players in to get that kind of team working? Because obviously Potter's a very good manager. It's interesting we chose a style of play. West Ham, is it the right fit? West Ham doesn't seem like a side that would play that way. But again, if you get a good transfer window in and maybe see if they can get used to playing that style, wouldn't be surprised if they probably hit that kind of heights of ninth with West Ham. But I'm not going to fall for that again. But yeah, I got it wrong here, spectacularly wrong. But it'd be interesting to see next season with Potter. Can he get them going? Can he get them playing his style of football, or was he just going to be like a bad choice, a second choice, and obviously he'd be gone by the end of the season? It would be interesting. But yeah, ninth place, I got that completely wrong. So in 8th place, I picked Chelsea. And obviously in the situation, they finished in 4th place, obviously in getting Champions League football. And obviously, as recording this, they are the Europa Conference League winners, obviously winning 4-1 against Real Betis. I got to be honest, a lot of people probably were thinking this at the start of the season, so it's not as bad. Obviously with Maresca coming in, obviously a new manager, untested, obviously in the Premier League, obviously because he's only experiences with Leicester. And obviously a very young squad again, like brought a lot of players in. But at the start of the season he got on playing some really good stuff. Obviously Cole Palmer seemed out of this world this season. Obviously Nicholas Jackson looks like the style of play. Obviously Calafuri on that kind of like, just like all the players that you kind of think, it finally seems like they got the system working. They had that tail of 2 months where they just couldn't win. It was kind of back to the Chelsea we knew. But given credit, I mean, at the end he's found a way to get them into European football. And obviously won a trophy in his first season. It's impressive. I'll give him credit for that. Obviously, my thoughts on Chelsea aside, can't 100% love them because obviously ruined my childhood, but hate Chelsea in a way. But got to give credit where credit's due. Like, start of the season, if you tell Chelsea fans to get European football and a trophy, they would bite your hands off with the state of the club right now. So, but this is the interesting thing with Chelsea next season. Are they going to be that side? They just had a good season, and then he's kind of been like he's had to motivate them to keep going. But the next season, kind of everyone can have one good season, but the second season is a true test. Obviously, with Champions League football, obviously not Europa Conference League football, it's different quality. Interesting to see how they're going to deal with that. Who they're going to bring in, but a lot of people are putting them to finish around about here. And I think it's been a really good season with Chelsea, I would say. And it'd be interesting. Next season, would it be can they stabilise as a Champions League team again, or are they going to slip back into kind of old ways with the inexperience of the manager? And we don't know. I think winning the trophy probably does help, but it would be interesting to find out. But I got this one completely wrong, and I put my hands up. I got this completely wrong, but what can you do? So in 7th place, I put Aston Villa. And obviously they finished 6th, so obviously they've one place higher, but roughly got it around about right. Obviously I'm sure I was thinking, because obviously Champions League football, can they cope with it? And to be fair, they did at a time, but obviously with Unai Emery, obviously a very European Cup manager, they play some good stuff at times. I think at one point I was thinking they'll sneak into that top 5. Really good form, obviously a good showing in the Champions League. Obviously they did beat that PSG side, and they played really well in that game as well. And they probably should have at least taken the extra time and probably won that game. That's how good they were. They've had a really good season in a sense. Probably would be for them probably disappointed with obviously the FA Cup semi-final defeat at Palace. I mean, they probably saw that as an opportunity to win a trophy. Obviously, someone said first time since '96 League Cup. Might be wrong. Obviously, don't know my Villa history as much as I should. But they've been outstanding. I think they've been at moments they've been really good. They've made some really good astute signings in January that really helped them catapult into at least being in the hunt. But I think it finally came to a head. Obviously, that Man United game, obviously with the controversy, but kind of slipped off a little bit, I think. So maybe that FA Cup defeat kind of hit them more than that. But yeah, I mean, I've always been a big fan of Villa because obviously I've got on the podcast, obviously one of good friends, Kyle. Kyle is obviously a Villa fan, so I kind of have a soft spot for Villa. Obviously, when they're playing Liverpool, of course, I'm not definitely don't want them to be lose. So, but it was a good. That's good. I mean, I kind of roughly got it around about right. But interesting Villa, obviously now they've obviously got Europa League football. I think they could win that. I really think they can go and win that, because obviously the way, obviously we'll talk about when we go to the top, then obviously they won Europa League, and the way the system goes, it's again they're really good sides. So I can see them go and win that tournament. Obviously with the expert there is Unai Emery. So, but yeah, I mean, probably be disappointed that they off it by a point. I think it was like they didn't get in. They're off it by goal difference. Obviously it's was it same number of points as Newcastle, but obviously Newcastle scored more goals. Obviously we'll talk about it in a minute, but yeah, not great here. I got to be honest, but was it 1 or 2 spots? I was off by 1, but yeah, I mean, the next season's going to be interesting, because obviously same old problem. Are they going to kind of invest more and more and make them try and challenge again, or is it going to tail off and kind of the Umu kind of bubbles kind of finally burst? But I don't think it will, because I think they've got a good team, they've got a good squad. I think they just 1 or 2 little tweaks in there, and they'll be up there again. So I won't be surprised. But yeah, obviously I think 7th, they actually finished 6th, so I got off by 1 position, but roughly got roundabout got that right. So, but yeah, so obviously Villa, I'm interested to see what happened next season. So yeah, but yeah, I got that one just a little bit wrong. On 6th place, I put Manchester United, and I can't put a smile on my face. Obviously, they finished 15th in the Premier League. Yep, I got that wrong, but in a weird feeling, I'm glad I got this wrong. I think a lot of people were putting Man United in the top half. Like, I don't know where this confidence came from. I really don't. Like, when I was doing my predictions, it was kind of like everyone's put Man United in top 4, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, yes, they won the FA Cup, but they were drabbing that season as well. The season previous, so like it's not unprecedented. The season's been coming, but yeah, it's been absolutely dreadful for them. Obviously, 20 odd kind of defeat. Was it 20 odd kind of defeats in the league? Obviously, that disappointing kind of Europa League defeat to top them. No trophies, no European football at all. I think it's been absolute. I mean, even when Liverpool are bad, we were never that bad. But yeah, it's hard. I mean, obviously Bruno Fernandes probably the only bright spot in a pretty drab team. That. I mean, obviously had Ten Hag obviously started the season, obviously gave him a shot, because obviously they were thinking, okay, he's won the FA Cups, give him another shot, give him some money. They spent big in the summer, but it just hasn't worked out. And obviously probably should have got with him in the summer and then maybe got somebody else, but they took the risk and it didn't pay off. And then they got Ruben Amorim in from Sporting Lisbon, obviously a former Liverpool target, funny enough. Yeah, he's trying to change them halfway through the season. I think they'll play their back 3 wing backs, but that hasn't worked out well at all. And yeah, it's a big transition this season, a big summer for Man United. They've no European football. Obviously, they're losing out to they've got Cunha coming in, if rumours are to be believed, and obviously I think they're already losing to the Delap. Obviously, looks like he chose Chelsea instead of Man United, so it's going to be a tough summer. See if they can get any recruitments. Obviously they've got the money. Apparently the rumours are the whole squad's for sale. Bruno Fernandes could be on his way to wave some money, so if they lose him, I am worried for Man United. Like, if he's the only best player you got and you're selling him, then something's wrong here. But yeah, I mean, as a rival fan, it's absolutely great to see them do so terribly, but as a football brain, it's baffling. So a lot of people put top 4 for the Champions League, and obviously they're nowhere near that. So I put 6th, got that wrong. 15th, my God, that's bad. But yeah, I mean, you're interested again. So keep saying for the other teams, interested next season. Is this going to be just a really drab, bad season, and they're going to finally regroup, adjust to the kind of system Amrin's trying to play, get the players in to make it work, or is it just going to be another manager with new ideas trying to get that club out of the depths and it not working? I mean, I think the way things are going at the moment, it's probably more than the latter than obviously anything else. But yeah, it'll be interesting where I put my predictions for them next season. But yeah, it's been an absolutely terrible season for Man United. So yeah, got that one completely wrong, but in a kind of really messed up way. I'm kind of glad I did. But yeah, so obviously they finished 6th, 15th. I predicted 6th, 15th. So yeah, I got that one completely wrong, but I'm kind of happy with it. So in 5th place, I put Newcastle, and only one of 2 predictions, I got this one exactly right. So happy right now. Yes, I got that one right. But yeah, Newcastle what a season for them. I mean, obviously last season it kind of didn't work out, because obviously I think the Champions League kind of campaign kind of done them a little bit, because obviously it's kind of that squad. I mean, they've always had a really good team, but the squad's a problem. But obviously this season having that, because obviously where they finished. But yeah, I mean, been outstanding. I mean, obviously Isak's been absolutely revelation this season. Obviously everyone's after him. Don't see him going anywhere. Yeah, obviously that whole team's been really good. Obviously they got the League Cup win when they beat obviously us, but they deserved it. They played really well and they wanted it more. So congratulations to him. And obviously they got where his season goes, finishing 5th, just outside the Champions League spots. Normally you'd think, oh my God, this is a bad season for him, but now they've, top 5's obviously now Champions League football and they've got it by skin of their teeth, I should point out. Like, again, with Villa, it's like goal difference. Scoring more goals, equal on points to Villa. It's just unlucky, it's how football is. But yeah, I'm just really happy for Newcastle. I mean, obviously, whatever you think about the ownership and kind of that kind of stuff, I like Eddie Howe as a manager. I like his style of play. I like how he conducts himself. I really do like they've got a really attacking three. I think Murray. I think you got Gordon on the other side, and obviously Isak. Like they've got. It's an amazing team. It's really good. And the question is, can he put it into a decent squad? Because obviously injuries, and obviously being in Champions League, need a big squad. And obviously that's what downfall last time. So see if they're going to learn from that from last time. But yeah, I got this one absolutely right. Good season for them. But yeah, got this prediction absolutely right. So on 4th spot, I put Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, this is another stinker here. I put them to finish 4th, but they finished 17th in the league with the 20 to 21, 22 defeats. Has had an absolute stinker, at least in the league though. I mean, if I want to go by technicalities, technically they did qualify for the Champions League, so I did predict that right. And that was obviously because they won the Europa League, beat Man United 1-0 in the Europa League final. Except for the first trophy in 17 years, first European trophy since the 70s. So like in a situation, great job by Ange there, but yeah, it's been an absolute drought season for them. I think injuries have really plagued them. It's kind of shown that, again, it's another situation with a team that when they've got the right players. Obviously, at the start of last season, it was like, it works. The all-out attack kind of formation works, but when they haven't got the squad or the quality, they kind of plug those gaps when the injuries hit. And it's kind of what's happened, obviously. But Liverpool scored like so many goals against them in the last 2 games, last season? This season, obviously, in the League Cup and obviously in the league. I mean, 6-3, I think that meant at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Absolutely crazy game that was. But yeah, it's just a 2 open. Obviously, when you get them on the counter, just like rip them to shreds. They're just like one way of playing. Eventually, it's going to catch up. Yes, you could be an all-out attacking, but you need to have good on defensively. You can't you're going to get exposed if you put 20 men forward. And you're not, struggling, able to, stop that from, teams attacking you on the break. So, and I think that's been a problem. Obviously, the question is with Arne, but is he going to stay? I mean, I think he should. I mean, obviously, sitting there saying it with like 20 league season, 20 defeats, and say he should stay, but it's that question, isn't it? It's like, he's won you a trophy, and if that doesn't get you any credit in the bank, I don't know what will. Obviously, there are rumours that he's gone on holiday and obviously haven't decided. They probably should have made the decision quite quickly. So I don't know why they're, not making that decision at Tottenham. But yeah, obviously you've got rumours of good managers coming in. But I think give him a shot. Because obviously with his unlucky injuries, he's earned the right to play Champions League football next season. Let him have the opportunity to try. What's the worst that can happen? Obviously, if he's rubbish, do what they may need to get rid of him after the season, and he can probably get someone and get a good tune out of this team. So give it a try, why not? And this is just from a football thing. I think does anyone know clear replacement? Keep him. See what happens. You never know. Maybe this might be the catapult they need to make him play some good stuff, because I do like him as a manager. He said at the start of the season he usually wins something in his second season. It's been proven right. Let him have his moment. That's what I would say. But yeah, got this one completely wrong in a way. But yeah, a lot of people are putting, I think Jamie Carragher has put him to finish 4th. So and obviously they did maybe had a bad start tail end to the season. So that should have been a clue on my end. But obviously I'll be listening to those clues more next season. But yeah, obviously they got this one cataclysmically wrong. And yeah, but they won the trophy. So congratulations Tottenham on that. But yeah, got this prediction totally wrong. So in 3rd position, I put Liverpool to finish 3rd, and this is one of those times when I am so glad I'm wrong. We didn't finish 3rd, we won the bloody league. I did not see this at the start of the season. Arne Slot coming in, I was thinking, okay, it's a transitional season, stability, get Champions League football, play some good, get this kind of style going, maybe get a trophy in there. cup, a FA Cup or League Cup, just to get that, winning mentality, keep going, and then next season we go. But no, they've adapted to his thing very quickly. Obviously, we all forget this team finished third last season, and obviously it's like off by just at the end. It kind of like the legs fell off. Like too many injuries, too much kind of like all knackered, and it's kind of where the Klopp's kind of football. It's kind of got to them in the end, and obviously we didn't finish third. But yeah, I mean, no one in the right mind was thinking we're going to win the league this year. I mean, anyone that's saying it, kudos to you, but no of the pundits were saying anything like that. The kind of tweaks he's done in midfield, the patient play we're playing, obviously putting Gravenberch in that defensive midfield. Rowe has been an inspired choice. Obviously, Mo Salah kind of keeping him off defensively, just letting him stay up there has obviously made him be more, show his quality when he does get the ball. It's been absolutely, top scorer, 47 goal contributions. You can never chair when we in the Invincible season. Absolutely insane. He's been outstanding this season. So glad that we got the contract stuff laid up with obviously Van Dijk and obviously Mo Salah staying for another 2 more years. But obviously the Trent thing's going to be the thing we've got to talk about. Obviously, as recording this, obviously, Liverpool have accepted a 10 million compensation fee to try and so we can join Man United early for the Club World Cup. I have my thoughts on Trent. Obviously, this is not for this video, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad I got this one. To win the 20th league title the way we have, and the kind of moves we're making in the transfer market. Obviously, Frimpong's coming in for the door when the window opens. Obviously, Wirtz we're putting in this now. We've put like £102 million. That's very not like Liverpool for Wirtz. And obviously, we've got Kirkez on that. Kirkez obviously from Bournemouth, and obviously rumours of strikers as well. So it's going to be a big summer of spending and a big summer of rebuild. So we can only get better. And the idea that we won this league by 10 points. I am shocked. I got this one wrong, but I don't think anyone was thinking we were going to win the league. Everyone was thinking of who I put, and everyone was putting. So, City, obviously, no one was expecting this to do it this season, and I'm so glad I got this one wrong. Liverpool won the Premier League, and I'm so happy, and it was great to see us lift the trophy, obviously, in front of fans. It was a more amazing one, but yeah, obviously, I predicted third. I got this one. A lot of people got this one wrong. So obviously, Liverpool won the league, and I was really happy. But yeah, glad I got this prediction one wrong. In second spot, I got this one completely right. Obviously, I put Arsenal to finish second, and they did finish second. But it probably is a season to kind of forget for Arsenal, because obviously last 2 seasons they've been challenging Man City for that title. Obviously losing out to a couple of points. I think they got 89 points last season. So it's a situation of they were getting closer and closer to win that league, and obviously third time is no charm. This season was supposed to be their season, but yeah, it just didn't work out. I think injuries have plagued them. I think they've been a bit more kind of cautious and a bit more defensively minded. Obviously, has the best defense in the league this season, but obviously, they're just not as free-flowing attacking as they was. Maybe they're trying to be a bit more conservative. Obviously, they've got a lot of goals from corners and set pieces. Obviously, but Saka's been amazing for them. Obviously, that injury that was out for 2-3 months kind of derailed their title challenge. To be fair, they were getting quite close, but they were never really challenging. So obviously, I think they got 12, 13 draws. So many draws. It's really cost them this season. Yes, there has been things like the refereeing decisions have been going against them, but obviously, and injuries, but they just haven't been good enough this season, and that's fine sometimes. I mean, obviously the big talking point of Arsenal is they didn't bring in a striker in January or in the summer, and it's already cost them, because obviously the entire their midfield, like the entire forward line just basically got injured. Completely got demolished due to injuries, and it's kind of cost them in a way. I mean, obviously they had a good run in the Champions League, obviously beating Real Madrid home and away. That's no mean feat. That's a really good accomplishment. But yeah, I mean, I know how it sounds arrogant-wise, but when it comes to title race with Liverpool, it's like it never looked like they were gonna catch us. You always have that confidence that they're gonna slip up, because we haven't been amazing sometimes, but we still have that quality to get the job done, and that's what we did. But yeah, it's interesting summer this one. Obviously, it's another 5 or 6 years now. Obviously, I kind of agree with on the overlap I saw with Thierry, where it's like you get to a point where when you start building, when you get to a point you've got to start winning trophies. Obviously, yeah, it's kind of a situation with a team like Arsenal and the way you're playing, getting closer and closer. You need to at one point win a trophy. It hasn't worked out. Obviously, I think they got knocked out early in the FA Cup. Obviously, the League Cup didn't really work out for them, and obviously Champions League, they were pretty much resoundingly kind of beaten. They're really good in parts of that game, PSG in the semi-final. But yeah, PSG probably deserved to win it in the end, sort of, because yeah, just PSG are outstanding this season, and obviously I can't wait to watch the Champions League final on Saturday. But yeah, it's an interesting summer. Obviously, looks like rumours are going into Zubimendi in that midfield. It's going to make them really a dangerous side. Obviously, they're still looking for a striker. Obviously, they've got one or two big names on the horizon, so if they can get a striker in, I think one or two like tweaks in the midfield, and you know, maybe some reinforcements in the front forward areas, they'll be back next season and they'll be up there challenging for the league, no doubt. Maybe next season might be their season. I hope not, because obviously I want Liverpool to win back-to-back league titles, so obviously that's a bit Liverpool biased there. But yeah, it's been a tough season for them. Not as good as last season. Same position, not as good, but I think Arsenal, give them credit, like if they need to, this summer is important. They need to get this right. They need to get the players in properly recruit, and next season they might be able to bring in the quality that might put them on the line and win a trophy, or at least win the league. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, prediction-wise, I got this one completely spot on. So on first position, I put Manchester City to win the league. It was a safe bet because everyone, you win 4 leagues in a row, 4 titles in a row. You will be nuts to go against them to not win a 5th. But yeah, it's been an absolutely stinker of a season. Yes, they finished 3rd, but that doesn't tell you the whole story of what's happened at City. Obviously, they were starting off really good, you know, as you expected with City. You know, really good. But then the Rodri injury kind of exposed the kind of lack of quality in that position, and kind of their style of play kind of been exposed. Ever since then, it kind of went on like a month where they just couldn't win a game. They're absolutely easy to play against. Get them on the counter. They haven't got the pace. They would just look awful. Pep would look like a person lost. Obviously, it's a perfect example of a team that don't really have a plan B. They have, when their system works, it works. But if one cog isn't there, it just falls apart. Obviously, they nearly tail end. They were able to get to the FA Cup finals. But obviously lost to Palace, and deservedly so, to be fair, because Palace they had most of the ball, Man City, but Palace just wanted it more, and obviously they were just more efficient. They were just better. They looked like more of just really good team. So I'm glad they won it in there. But yeah, so the first trophy this season since Pep's first season in charge, when he finished 3rd, I think, roundabout as well. So it's tough. It's an interesting summer for them. Obviously with Kevin De Bruyne leaving, it's a situation of they've got to find that creative spark that's going to really produce those kind of crosses and kind of creative spark to kind of open up defenders. They were up for Wirtz, but obviously not going for him now, because obviously Liverpool obviously keeps hinting that in there. I cannot wait to see. I hope we get him so bad. But yeah, I mean, it's just been a really bad season for them. They're really off season. The question is, next season, is it going to be a situation of, is it going to be a blip? Just everyone has a bad season. Liverpool can contest that. Sometimes injuries and just stuff happens where you just cataclysmic happens, and then obviously next season you just go on. I mean, obviously they've found out they need a lot of work on that squad, more than they thought they did. Again, face sounds very similar to Liverpool. We thought we had a decent squad and enough squad to do it again, and then found out we didn't have the cover that we thought we did. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they get Kevin De Bruyne kind of replacement. When Rodri comes back, are they going to play again, or are they going to try and kind of rotate a bit more so he doesn't get injured as much, not run him to the ground. Obviously Haaland's got on about like 20 odd goals. So it's good for any other striker, but Haaland, it's just a terrible season for him. But again, it's because he's not getting the service as much as he was. So, and he's Haaland's a kind of striker that kind of like he's only as good as the service he gets, and that's not a slight on him. The guy's a very, very, very freak of nature, very, very good footballer, and obviously like the guy's like scores some cracking goals. But again, he's just an old school striker. You don't supply him with chances, he's not gonna create himself. He's more of a, like, I don't want to say poacher, but he's kind of like, he's not going to be that kind. I do like Haaland. I mean, take away the kind of arrogance a little bit, but he is. I know he's a really good player. But be interesting next season. I hope this is like kind of a rebuild and kind of a blip. This isn't a blip, and it's the start of a transition of kind of like how Pep was it. He's got to change because obviously football's changing with him, and you've got to adapt to survive. Or was it just he lost his best player and it's kind of went to crap? If he can get rotation on that defensive midfield, get someone creatively in that middle, and maybe get 1 or 2 defensive reinforcements, maybe they'll be back again. But yes, I put them first. A lot of people did. Obviously, some people were a bit bold and went for Arsenal. I did not. And obviously, prediction-wise, that was right cool. And but yes, City did not finish top, and Liverpool did. So obviously, talked about that earlier. But yeah, I got that one wrong. But I think a lot of people were putting that this season. So I'm not surprised that I don't think it's like a bad call, because a lot of people are putting City to win it. But you know, it's one of those things. But yeah, so City did not win the league, we did. That was my prediction. So yeah, so let me know in the comments below what of my predictions. Obviously, what do you think? Obviously, you're probably thinking of the kind of obviously the West Ham one, and Nottingham Forest, absolute stinker. Got that one completely on top. The one definitely got on. But well, you know, when it comes to the other ones, I think I got quite good actually, quite close-ish with certain positions a little bit. So you know, it was quite not bad actually in the end. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think of my predictions. Obviously, please like, subscribe to the RK Football Podcast. Obviously, we release podcasts daily. Obviously, obviously, like and subscribe to the RK Football Podcast. Obviously, we released videos weekly. Obviously, our weekly podcast with the guys, and obviously we release shorts. Obviously, doing really well. Please, hopefully we can get some good amount of subscribers going into the new season. But yep, obviously you can follow us on Instagram at RK Football Talk, and obviously we've got a Facebook page, obviously RK Football Talk as well. And yeah, follow us on those social medias. And yeah, so. Yeah, I've been Stuart Irvine, and this is my reaction to my predictions. Well, hopefully I can do better next season. But yeah, have a good rest of your day, guys, and see you later, everyone. Bye.